Alright, hey guys, it's 99 again, back with you on Beatmaker 2. I just did a video showing you my workflow on just a basic loop in Beatmaker 2 on the iPad. A lot of times I take my iPad with me on the train because I commute to work on a train, and I'm on there for about 3 hours total every day, Monday through Friday. So this allows me to get a lot of my creative ideas out while I'm on the go. You know, it makes that commute time productive for me. So let's say Beatmaker 2 on the iPad was the only music creating software that I had. So I have a synth that I want to get the sounds into Beatmaker for a beat that I'm working on. The beat that I made previously, I'm going to use it, but I made some changes to it so it sounds a little bit different. It sounds like this now. Okay, so that's the beat I have, and let's say I want to add some strings to it, some strings that are going to come out of my Ultranova, or some bass that I want to bring out of my my MP7 or my DR202 drum machine. Let's go ahead and show you how I would go about doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just show you how I get my sounds out of my Ultranova, for instance, and get them into Beatmaker 2. I've got a string patch loaded up, and I've got my Ultranova ready. I mean my iPad ready with Beatmaker 2. And okay, so I'm just going to play my loop and play along with it in my Ultranova. And I'm also, while playing along with it, I'm going to be recording the sound from my Ultranova straight into a software application called Reaper. And it's just going to record the Ultranova and not any of the sounds that are coming out of Beatmaker. So I'll have a clean sample. Okay, so I've recorded it into Reaper, and what I'm going to do now is take that recording from my Reaper document folder and just drag it onto my desktop. Okay, so now that I've dragged the file from Reaper onto my desktop, what I'm going to do now with that file is drop it into my Dropbox folder that I already have designated for Beatmaker 2. I've already got my Dropbox set up with Beatmaker, or synced up with Beatmaker. I'm going to go ahead and bring you in closer so you can see a little better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the drum machine that I want to load those samples onto. I'm going to select a different bank, an empty bank, and this is the pad I'm going to load it to right here. So before I can do that, I need to import that file from my computer or from Dropbox into the iPad. Now what I'm going to do here is you do that by selecting the home button up here, and then the icon you're going to want to select is the one that has a little image of a it appears to be an iPhone next to an iMac. Just hit that, and you have these little icons to choose from. You have file transfer, SoundCloud, Dropbox, pasteboard, and iPod import. We're going to select Dropbox. Now I've already gone through and synced up my Dropbox account with Beatmaker 2, so it's already all set up, and it's going to load you into your root folder in Dropbox, and on this side, or I'm sorry, your root folder on Beatmaker 2 on the left, and your root folder on Dropbox on the right hand side. So I dropped that file in my Beatmaker 2 folder inside Dropbox, and I'm gonna highlight it and drop it over to my temp sample folder that I have set up on Beatmaker 2. And this file is 02-120220. Gonna hit the left arrow to drag it over. And it's pretty fast. You just got to get everything set up on your wireless network or whatnot. If you hear that clicking, that's my dog walking around. Okay, everything's transferred over. X out of the Dropbox dialog, and you now have the sample available to load to your pad. Go into Edit Sample, and here we have our sample. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just play it, and I'm going to wait for it to get to the point where I actually have sound that I want to use. Since it was one long take, it's going to sound a little different, or there's going to be a portion that I'm going to want to take out of there. Okay, so I found the point where I want to slice, and what I'm going to do is just highlight to the left of it, I'm going to process it, insert silence, and the only reason I'm doing this is so I can have a visual marker for when I strip the rest of the stuff to the left out. And to get rid of this, I'm just going to hit X, and it's going to delete everything before, or everything I have highlighted. Hit X again. Alright, so that's basically what I want to use. Now I'm going to trim it up, just make it a little neater at the beginning. Let's go ahead and get rid of that dead space at the end too. Alright, so there we have it. That's the sample that I'm going to be using. Save. So I'm going to save over the file, and there we go. It has a little bit of a pop at the beginning that I really didn't care for, so let's try the fade in and see if that does anything. Nope. So since that didn't make a difference, let's go ahead and use ADSR and mess with the attack a little. Nope, that doesn't seem to be doing the way I want it to. Let's go ahead and edit the sample again. What's cool is you can go in and actually highlight the beginning. I'm going to process it, do a fade in. A nice fade in. Oh. That's still there a little bit, but it's not noticeable to me. Okay, so now that it's all set to go, gonna get it to record on a different track. You know, let me go ahead and save this real quick as well. Okay, so let's go back to our track view. We're going to go ahead and name this track. This is the samples track. Samples. This is drums. Alright, so I'm going to add another track. And I'm going to use the samples drum machine for my source, and that's just named it generically track 4. I'm going to rename it to strings. So the reason I did that is that way when I go back into my drum machine, I can set my record settings to have it record all the MIDI data to a separate track, so I can track everything out separately. I'm going to set it to the strings track up here. Hide the record settings, and let's go ahead and do a quick record. The strings were a bit loud. Let's go ahead and take that down a little bit. Okay, so there you have it. I've done my strings. You know what? Let's go ahead and add some bass in there. I'm going to use a bass from my MP7. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is add a bass sound from my MP7 that I have back here. And I'm just going to do the same thing, route it through Reaper, basically just sample into Reaper as I'm playing along with the beat from Beatmaker 2. So here we have the beat, and now this time it's got the strings behind it. Set up Reaper real quick, and I've got my bass loaded ready. Okay, I didn't like that take, I'm going to redo it. Alright, let's do this again. Alright, cool. So now I'm going to edit it real quick, and then I'll be back to show you what I do with Dropbox. Okay, so I've saved it, copied it out of Reaper, and placed it onto my desktop. So what I'm going to do now is drop it into my Dropbox folder. Okay, it's going to be syncing up, and what I'm going to do in my iPad is go back to the Dropbox window, wait for it to sync, and it's good now. So what I'm going to do is look for that file under my Beatmaker 2 folder, and there it is. Drop it over to temp sample folder, and we're good to go. So now what I'm going to do is load that file again, or load it onto my drum machine again. We're going to pick the samples one. Let's go to bank C. We use bank C for the bass. This is the sample pad I'm going to use. Load sample, and here we are right here. There's my bass sample. I'm going to edit it because there were some takes that I didn't like. Save, and we're good to go now. So now that's a little low. So let's go ahead and go in there and do a normalize on this. And the way you do normalize is you have to actually select it first, hit the process button down here, and the option will be available. Okay, now I have that loop loaded onto this pad, and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick actually let's set up another track for the bass. Let's add track, use the samples, rename it to bass. And now when we go into our drum machine, go to record settings, select the bass track, and it'll record to the bass now. So now when I record, alright, and that's basically it. That's how you add sounds from other outboard gear. You can, I mean, there's other ways that you can do it. You can FTP the files in if you like or whatnot, but basically what you're going to need to do is set up whatever synth or sound module you have to record into some sort of recording software. You can use Audacity. I use Reaper just because it's really easy to set up different routings. Like I can have this recording into one track and then have my Ultranova recording into a different track, and I'll be able to split it up and get just the Ultranova sounds in here if I want to. So yeah, that's basically it. It's Necron 99 with Beatmaker 2 using my Ultranova and my MP7, and yeah, this is the basic beat that I got right here. I'll see you next time.